All right, good morning, traders. Welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. We're going to go through live forward-looking order flow analysis, understand what's going on with price and where it might go next, based off of understanding and comprehending the participants in the auction process. And get that kind of insight that we can from order flow. That's what this is all about. All right, so good morning, Dieter and Alois and Stephen. Yep, thanks, guys. All right, so let me see here. So webinar, all markets over in our Discord. Okay, good morning, guys. All right, all good. And go through the disclosures and then we'll jump right in. Right, so general disclosure, all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's jump in here, or there's a few housekeeping things to cover. Number one is Carmine Rosado will be hosting a webinar next week, and it's going to be on, he's a fantastic trader and educator, and he uses the Bookmap replay mode a lot. And highly recommends it. So he's going to talk about that and how he uses it to debrief his trading and look at his trades that he has taken. Guys, I really encourage you to do this as well. When you start your Bookmap up, make sure to record your trade activities as well as your data so that you can go back in replay mode and debrief. It is an excellent tool. It's all there. So, and then you can replay it again and trade again and again off of it, which is amazing. So, what does that mean? It means that you're going to be able to play like a poker player. Instead of waiting for another game, you will be able to play like 10 games very, very quickly by replaying that trade, then go back, replay it again, take that trade and go back, and then become a total expert at it. This is how you'll get some experience. You'll understand what you're looking for, and you'll see it again and again and again. Rob, this is exactly what we've been talking about. This kind of stuff. So, like, let's see here. Is there anything that I see in this current market here? I think I was looking actually at this one here, Rob, and I want to go through this with you guys because it's in hindsight here, and we're starting to see something kind of interesting starting to unfold here as well. So maybe I'll have to come back and revisit here, but let's just take a look at all of this order flow activity on the way down here. Okay, now when I mean order flow, not just the transactions and the price action here. Look at the order flow, the orders in the market on the offer, and look at in general here, bigger picture. A lot of sellers up in here, and what happened? What was the reaction to all this selling up here in the order book? It was never filled. It was just here. Well, the reaction was more sellers. Where did they go? They went down to the buyers here in the order book. They traded here. What about lower? Yeah, it went through there. So this was not enough to absorb all the selling pressure. It went lower. It went into this level of liquidity here around this 73 level. There is more liquidity down here at 58 or 57 and 55. Funny enough, we don't see it at 50, the figure down here. If we come down here, likely though, there will be at that time. But this is what we see in the order book. All right, now, What do you guys think? What is the trend? And do we see, and what are we thinking right now is the direction it will continue to go right now, or go in the near future? So just yeah, are you think it's going to go down? Price is going to go down. It's going to go up. What do you think? And where might it go? Come on, guys. Someone's got to reply in there. Up. Okay. Why, Alan? It might. I'm not. There's no right. Well, you'll have to convince me why, Alan. Yeah, the context is down, but let's see. Exactly. Now, there's some buying that's coming in. Okay, and we don't know if there's enough buying in here. I mean, it's not yet, but it might turn into enough buying to come all the way back up to wherever. I mean, we don't know that answer. Okay, but look at the context here in the volume in the bars down here. These are volume delta bars. And look at the volume in here as well. Okay, the volume dots. The larger the dot, the more that transacted. The color obviously is a green dot is a market buy and a red dot is a market sell. The context is down, and it is still down, even though we see part of the structure being tested right now. Okay? Just right where price is right now. This is the swings here, 1, 2, 3, that are being tested by buyers. Okay, and pretty good buying in here. So maybe they can come up further. Maybe they can test this structure up here around 94 or so. Okay, we don't know, but we do know this. Look at the overall, okay? And it's starting to kind of shift and change in here. Right, so we might be seeing a reversal, but right now we're still in a downtrend, and we're still seeing more sellers here than we are buyers. Now, this might be starting to shift and change though, and we also know that there's a lot of absorption in these areas in here, or a lot of traders trading in here. Okay, so at this point here, when we ask the question, where we think price is going to go, well, we're still looking for it to go down. I mean, there's nothing in here yet. We don't see a transition quite yet. I would argue that yeah, I mean, you're starting to see some buying and selling, but there's still more sellers than there are buyers in here. Okay, so we're not seeing that very clear transition yet. So the question is, do you want to risk money on that? And you might catch it, and it might work out great. It might. This might be the low of the day. And you nailed it. But we just don't know here. We don't have any sort of criteria in here to give us that insight right now. Okay, so we can go ahead and look at our higher time frames in here. That might be helpful, and it will be here. We just closed the gap down here. Okay, so this is a gap on the hourly chart here. And we just went into this was back on March 11th, I believe, 12th. But I'm sorry, this is I don't know what day this is. Anyway, we can see that we have the move down to close the gap where this had gapped up quite a bit. So yeah, this was on the 11th, and yep. Okay, the gap is closed. All right, so meaning, and this is an order flow event as well, with a gap being closed like this. So we're going to probably find some buyers off of here. This is where this whole move, and let me get the pen tool out. Okay, and we're looking at bigger picture stuff in here now to give some insight, right? So and try to understand, is it going to reverse here, or what are we anticipating here? And we had to look at the higher time frame in order to get that insight. Okay, so here is where we filled the gap. All right, so this is the gap, and this is a big green candle on the daily here. That big green candle right here. All right, that's where the buyers came in. Okay? You can argue that yeah, they came in over here as well. That's kind of where it gapped up, and it immediately filled it and then went higher. But we're looking for where those buyers came in. This is a great area right here because of the gap. This is where those buyers, and the overnight, the session closed, the regular trading hours and the extended trading hours, it opened up here, right? So that's a huge move on the overnight, and then you can see we dribbled down and just closed it, at least this gap here, and that would be right in here, right? But you can see on the daily chart, where did that move really take place? This is where it really took place, down here, around this 51.30 or so. Okay, so we're putting into the bigger picture here, this context and understanding of what's going on. Let me see, Alan just pointed up. Looks like some trap traders. Yeah. We don't know. If the I'm not anticipating much. Now we've seen it, many times, 1, 2, 3. Hits down here or whatever. This is a pattern, in fact, and we may see a reversal right, stream right away from this area on up. We don't know. However, I'm not convinced. I don't have evidence. I don't have criteria in here to convince me of that. Okay, so I'm going to stay away from it, and then I would miss it. Okay? I will wait until I see some sort of transition here from the order flow and the transactions. Now, we do have the order flow here getting filled. This is a good sign, and we know that. We know the transaction took place here and in here. Okay, so these are buyers. They're getting filled. We're also starting to see, some buying creep in here, also in here. Looks pretty good. But overall, we're still in a downtrend. Okay, even the volume in here it's mostly, well, we can look at cumulative volume delta to get a deeper insight. But what we're trying to understand is all of this action here to give us insight to what's going to happen here. Right? So, and right now, well, it's not a surprise that we don't see too many buyers up here right now. In fact, we see some sellers starting to come in. Okay, so seeing this move come right back down in here is more likely than seeing a ton of buyers come in and moving it back up right now. All right, so JJ, you want to take a look at Bitcoin? Sure, we can take a quick look at Bitcoin. But anyway, let me make this point here about this. This is the direction that we've been going with the education, and I think it's just critical. From the Bookmap Academy, we continue to talk about our setups and our checklists. So if you're not using that tool or something like it, you should. I think it will be it's a really good guide in here, and the developers created it for us. So we have this setups checklist here, and you can input your own criteria. You don't have to go with this kind of flag pattern that we already have by default. You can go to the settings here and input your own. Use this tool. Make sure that you can check the box for your criteria. And when you can, then you can grade it in here as well. I see the criteria, and now I'm looking for a strong trade, and you can get the average score down here, and you're looking for an 8 or higher, okay, for whatever criteria that you have. And then this will allow you to take only good trades, only good setups. And that is a big distinction. Okay? Even if it's wrong, even if you lose on that, then that's something else. You may have to work on your trade management. You work on something else, or you just got unlucky, right? It might have just gone against you, and that's fine. Losses are a big part of this profession. It really is. Like I don't. Did anyone see the Axia Futures webinar yesterday? Yeah. Yep. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. I mean, enlightening. Oh, thanks, Alan. But enlightening. These guys are top-notch traders. Top-notch traders. And did you see their win and loss rates on all of them, from news traders to swing traders to scalpers? Okay, this puts the context into play here. Here, let me show you the trading journal tool that we have. Hey, you should be using this. You should be tracking your trades. I don't have a whole lot of trades in here, but you can go through and you can take a look here. My profit ratio here. Let's see, I have 63 profitable trades and 75 losers. So I'm 46% of the time profitable. Actually, in terms of profit ratio, or winners to losers ratio, I am outperforming those traders, okay, from Axia Futures. Okay, but this is meaningless, and that was, this is the kind of stuff we want to understand. This is rather meaningless. Okay, I mean, it's good to know your ratios, but they were hitting like 30% or 35% or something like that. So they had tremendous more, what was it? I think 600 winners and 1,000 losers, something like that. So, 3 to 1 losers. Or I'm sorry. Well, yeah, just the percentages every time they hit the button, they're going to win just 1 out of 3 trades. It's pretty bad. It sounds pretty bad, right? However, their equity curves weren't grinding like this. They were going up like this, right? Big difference. Okay, so and how are they doing that? Well, they're taking lots of small losses. When they're taking their winners, they're knocking it out of the park, and they know how to leverage it. That's the big difference. That webinar went over a lot of different points. I really, we don't have the recording yet, but you should take a look at it. Their lead educator, Richard, goes through and talks about the performance, and it really kind of levels the playing field, I feel, and kind of get an understanding of really what's going on here. In terms of being profitable, it'll make a huge difference here. Okay, so, and also filtering, looking for the right trades. Like this one right now. Like, is this really something you want to be in? And not for me. I'm not seeing that transition yet. Okay, So I'm looking, I'm waiting for it. And if I miss it, then I miss it. I'll look for something else. But it's just not worth it to me. So I need to see more. All right, let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. Okay, yeah, I've got it here. Go. Okay, and it'll take a minute to load. I mean, this is a $70,000 instrument right now, and every $5 is a tick. It might have to go to 10 now, but my God, a crazy instrument. Or 68,000 now is selling off a bit. Okay, well here, let's take a look at this. Maybe this is the transition we're looking for. Okay, hold on. We'll wait for this to load here because I don't see it yet. I don't see it in the volume. But we certainly see this move here, right? From 68, 200 on up, right? And on pretty strong volume. But now we're coming all the way back on some pretty strong volume too. Okay, so it's retesting this area in here where it broke out from. Okay, so are we going to find more buyers starting to come in here? Because this is where it broke out from. Actually, we can even look a little bit lower, maybe even here. Typically, we like to look at this area right here for the breakout, but you can also see it right here. Okay, so and that's where we've tested now down here. Okay, so we're looking at market structure, right? And I'm going to just make this point really quickly in here because we can take a look at maybe some trend lines as well. So what are we looking for down here then? If this is a breakout and it's going to be sustained, we need to find more buyers. We need to find some support here. And this does not look like it right now at all. I don't see a lot of buyers here. I see sellers, in fact. So let's see. The sellers are probably going to try to drop it back down to 68,000 and maybe the swing low here at 67,900. And here they come. They're already breaking the market structure. And how are they breaking it? On volume. All right. So now let's take a look at this criteria in here that we just talked about in the S&P. Okay. So are we really looking for this to be that reversal? No, we're not. Here's why. Look at the on the moves down here. And look at the volume in here. Okay, sellers, lots of sellers. Okay, a little bit of buying, not much. Okay, and then the buying, we don't see really much of anything in here at all. And then the buying here, but that relates to the breakout. Okay, so I don't see this transition taking place yet. Right, so having this break down and come down to this area in here is not out of the question. Okay? It's not a surprise to see that. Okay? So now we need to see you can see buyers kind of we're able to drive it right back, but look at the buying here as well. On this pullback here where these sellers came in and dropped it, do we see a lot of buying in there? No, absolutely not. Okay, so sellers are in control still in this move from this point on down, right? So we're looking again for sellers right here, and let's see if they can drop it. Okay, in fact, let's go through some trading in here as well. Okay, now again, this is not a trade recommendation. I just want to go over some of the trade functionality in here. All right, so I am looking for sellers here to drive this lower. Now I would put on the bracketed, but so all right, so I'm filled in here. All right, I'm looking for our sellers to drive this lower now. And where am I looking for them to target? Okay, again, this is not a trade recommendation whatsoever. Okay, I just want to detail out what we're looking for in the criteria. Okay, and it's not a high probability, but it is more likely that we will trade down to these levels here. Right? So then how would I deal with that? Well, what am I looking for? What time frame? How am I going to manage this trade here? Okay, So am I just going to trade it back to my level down here, or am I looking for something bigger now? These are questions you need to answer for yourself for the trade management. Okay, so it did what I wanted here, right? There it is. So I'm just going to take my profit here. There it is to the swing, right? Flatten. Okay, so that's that, right? That's all I'm looking for. God, did I have it open here in the? Okay, good. I didn't. All right, so yeah, I didn't have that in my trading journal open, but that's fine. Yeah, to open up your trading journal, and if you guys want to journalize that and have that show up in here in your list of trades and then into the data in here, this is what you need to do. Is you need to come here and open up the trade configuration panel or configure add-ons, and then trading statistics here. Okay, and we'll open it up for the instrument you are accessing right now. You need to have this open. Okay, now we can minimize it, but that's what we're. If you take this trade and you want it to be into to take place in here, you got to have that open. So in fact, let me go through it again. You need to download the latest trading statistics, and then once you have that open, let's see here. Oh, it doesn't. It still doesn't have it. Okay. Let's try it again. I don't think it will. It should open up the. I should have a button for the browser in here. All right, so let's just take another quick position in here. Okay, so yeah, all right, go south again, and then just let's just flatten this thing. So let's see, did it do it here? No. All right. All right. So yeah, you will need to have the you will need to have a different version of the trading statistics, right? And then once you have that, it's there'll be a button up here to, or a box to check to go show it in the web browser trading journal. All right. So once you've got that, then you can journalize your trades. Anyway, guys, let's just jump back here. Is it clear what we're looking for in some of these ideas in here? And now this can work for any strategy. Rob, we can take a look at this and we can say this is like a flag pattern in here. And like I had replied to you earlier today, keep in mind what the flag is all about. It's not the pattern itself. That is irrelevant. It's understanding this context in the market structure, transactions, and order flow. Okay, and we saw this move to the downside and it continued down. We got a pullback here, and this is a low volume pullback. Okay, who's in control? Sellers here. Low volume pullback here. Looking for more sellers here, looking for our target and getting out. And that's it. Okay, so it is this criteria that matters, and it's this list that matters. Okay, that I'm looking for sellers, looking for the low volume pullback, and looking for more sellers to take it down and explore lower into my levels. And that's that. Right, so I hope that was helpful. Let's go back to, let me close this up. Okay. And we covered a little bit of Bitcoin there as well. All right. So let's come back and now look at what's happening here. starting to kind of shift and change, right? So Alan was right. Market's starting to go back up, and look at the volume starting to come in now. Okay, so we're starting to understand a little bit better in here, but this was not worth the risk for me here. Okay, and in fact, I'm still not quite sure if we're going to get it or not, and get this like huge reversal here. Okay, there's still a lot down here. It can come back down and re-explore. However, look at the order flow. Look at all of these traders in here and here on the bid, also here on the bid at a higher level. So the target is 5,200 here. Okay, these buyers to reach these sellers here at 5,200. Okay, now we talked about this move potentially back up to here as well, or the swings in here. Okay, so we're kind of testing that right now. We just need to see more buyers take it through that swing and then come back up to that liquidity. Okay, now if you're a market profile or a volume profile trader, then you can understand these swings relate also to this profile. Okay, very, very clearly. All of this is interrelated here. So, you know, why does that matter? Well, or why is that so? It's very, very simple. This is where the transactions are taking place. Okay? In this area in here, okay? All of it. Up here, there's less up above. Hold on. In this area up in here, okay? There's a lot less, right? Well, here's our profile. Okay, look at how thin it is right in there. Okay, it's because of the swing. Right, this is where price traded and rejected. Right, so now we're looking for this liquidity in here. Okay, the first thing we should be looking at is the swing. Right, the target would be for the liquidity, but the swing is really kind of price rejected a couple times up here. So will it accept and go higher here? Well, this is where we need to see those buyers taking it higher. Right, so anyway, let's see if we get them or not. We may. Now, what kind of criteria do we have in here that tells us that we might come up and trade into 5,200? Well, this is pretty strong move here. Okay, here's our selling, and now are we getting that strong volume? Yeah, we are starting to. Okay, let's zoom in here. Now, do we have the order book on our side where they're bidding up here? Okay, not bad. Let's see if we can get a little bit more in here. A bit more buying. Okay, buyers. Now let's see you trade up into this 199 or 200. Okay, and also, what do we have here? What would this be in here? These sellers. What would you call these guys here? Besides sellers. These would be your trap traders. Yep, exactly, Alan. Okay, so let's put some market structure on this. Okay, so we went up higher. We just broke out up into 97 though. That was it. Now look at the relative volume in here compared to over here and here. Is it a surprise? Now we don't know. All of a sudden it could have picked up here. It didn't here. Okay, so you got to manage the trade. Now again, this is not a trading room. This is about reading order flow and starting to understand where price might go, and using these tools to our advantage. Okay, now we were looking for the breakout and the move up higher, and we didn't get quite. You know, it did it, broke out, but only by a little bit. Okay, and we're starting to see more sellers in here. Now we have our criteria again. We have our swing. Okay, and we would anticipate some of this activity up at the swings up in here. So now we're looking for if we can continue on up and break the swing, on volume, and it's kind of struggling right now. Still making higher highs in structure and higher lows. And then now let's look at all of this down here in the criteria. Okay, so buyers, okay, cluster is selling, It could be trapped. You can get back up in here and get buyers again. Okay, and we're starting to. Okay, it's here though where we need to see these buyers. Okay, not anywhere else. Okay, so this could be a nice little squeeze here. We see sellers up here right now. So actually, we'd be looking for the sellers to try to take it down to like 94 here. Okay, so now we don't know. Price might reverse right back up, and then we get a big buy dot up here, and these guys will be trapped. Okay, and then we'd look for that move pretty nicely and pretty quickly up into 200. All right, these are the scenarios we're going through based on the criteria that has unfolded in the recent past here. And this is how you can start to put together a setup for yourself. And you're looking at Market Pulse to guide you as well. Sure. You guys can absolutely use your Market Pulse tools as well and other confluences and insights, stops, icebergs. Filter the heat map. I've got. I don't want to go over anchored VWAP with you guys today. I know we released it. There's still a few kind of things that are, I think, going to be need a little more clarity. All right, so I'm going to hold off on that. Okay, so look at the scenario now. Okay, so we've traded down to our 94. Okay, now we're finding buyers come in. Okay, but look at the context of the buyers here. It's not very good. Okay, it might change. Okay, we got to see buyers though. Here they come. Now, is it a lot? No, it's not a lot. Are they really? Is it resolve here? Do they have a lot of conviction in here? I don't see it. So do I want to take that? I think it's going to go up here. And I think these will be a trap here, and we'll probably see big volume in here. So is it worth it? Do you want to take it? Knowing that is a real large possibility. Okay? Well, is this enough? And it's not for me. All right, so now we can talk about trade management up in here too. Okay, because now we're talking a little bit about FOMO here, or fear of missing out. We can, and that's not good, because then we're anticipating, and we just have to be in a trade. We can't not be in a trade. And it might work out here pretty well for us. We don't know. But this is just not enough criteria to give us that insight. Okay, so there are some ways to deal with this, though. Okay, one is trade a lot smaller on things like these scenarios in here. But I mean, first off, you just need more criteria. Secondly, though, you can reduce your size and also trade only one position here, leg in to it here, and then you would scale into the trade as it goes against you, because we're not really sure. If it goes right up here right immediately, great, but we don't have a full size on. Okay, so then in here you would be considering maybe half size or a third size, and then looking for a pullback to this zone in here, and then getting on a little bit more size, and then as it's coming back up, we can consider the scaling out or scaling in even more if it looks really good. Okay, this is looking better in here now. Okay, and you could if you see a big green dot up in here. Okay, and we also have really nice order flow in here, which we do not have. We have a little bit of bidding here, but these guys are staying in the book in these areas here. They're not pulling. Okay, so it's not really hitting you over the head saying like you should get in here as well and scale in. Okay, but I'm just going over some different trade management techniques in here that you can use, and this would reduce your risk. Okay, because you're looking for that to unfold potentially here, but it's not really what you want, right? So you can use your trade management as a tool in here to get better at this and reduce your risk, right? And there's the move, okay, that we were looking for, okay, up into 200. All right, so now did we miss it or did we get in some of it? This is you need to determine how you want to manage this. I think Shark Blue, was it? Yeah, it was you. I don't know if are you in here this morning? I don't see you. Yeah, he is. I don't see him. Oh, there he is. There he is. Hey, there you are. Okay, you went through we went through your trade and how you turned. Actually, it was great because you have your 1, 2, 3 pattern that you're looking for, and you took the trade. But then you looked at it in hindsight and said, I didn't have justification for taking this trade, and you knew that later. However, because of the way you managed that trade, you were able to take some out of it, and it wasn't a loser. Okay? Fantastic. That's how important trade management is. Okay? In this case here, like yeah, you could have made some money out of this by kind of scaling in. Maybe some here, maybe some on the pullback. Okay, and then maybe even more in here, and this would be a quick scalp adding to it back up into this kind of 5200. Right, now let's just zoom out and let's take a look at this here. Okay, so now what does our criteria look like? Okay, now we're starting to see a bit of a shift and a change here. I'm still looking for a pullback. To be honest, I'm not looking for this to go straight up. Probably a pullback to, let's see, maybe down to this 92 level here or so. Okay. In the bigger picture, let's get rid of all of this kind of smaller time frame analysis, and we'll take a look here. So somewhere around in here, and we can look for that. Yeah, I'd go with that one, but we have another swing up here that we did break through. Finally broke through. Yeah, I'm still looking for a pullback in here. All right. Anyway, so now Alan, if Alan was in this and he took this on up, he nailed it. And we even mentioned like, hey, maybe he will nail it here. He was looking for it to go up. It went up. Again, though, we avoided a lot of the criteria in here, or avoided the risk of taking something we weren't sure of. And we're waiting for those, the other participants to take hold or get involved into this before we see or put some risk on. right? And then we started to look for it a little bit later for a move higher. Even in these areas up in here, we weren't really, this looks pretty good in here, but this, we weren't quite too sure until we looked for our volume to move this back up. And we talked about the trap traders, etc. Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, well, we were doing it in real time, but in hindsight, let's just take a look at some of these trap traders in here, and we would anticipate pretty big stop run in here, and it's not that big, but we do see it though. Okay, so just think about, like, this is the strong move, and then we're looking for the next, kind of a low volume pullback, a book to support it, maybe these guys to pull their liquidity. We didn't get that, and instead we got some sellers in here, and we were looking for a pullback in here. God, I have to zoom in. So we could talk about, though, these guys, who's on the wrong side in here. And we were mentioning, like, these guys potentially on the wrong side. Okay, and these would be your sellers that are trapped. Okay, they're looking forward to hit that level and then reverse. Now that's good. We can see the sellers there. We can also look at buyers, though, that are potentially trapped. The thing with the buyers, though, is they are moving the market still. Okay? They were making higher highs and higher lows, but we can start to look at those clusters of buyers where they might be trapped. Okay, this would be a good one up here if we can reverse. Now, one of the traders in here, Donkey, I don't think he's in here today, but this is the pattern, one of the patterns he's looking for. He's looking for the reversal. So something like this right in here, and then looking for it to break and continue on lower. He's looking for trap buyers to get it wrong, and for this to be a ascending wedge type of pattern. All right, so and we're going to find out who the winner is. But the pain and the squeeze continued to the upside here, and the structure was helping us with that. Okay, that we're making still higher highs and higher lows in here, and we're still finding our buyers. Okay, so anyway, this is the criteria we're putting together for our trade. Okay, it creates this foundation for that trade and makes it much more likely to unfold. Right, so criteria-based trading is the key here. All right, so we got our pullback here only to 97. Okay, we didn't get down to here to 92 in a bigger picture pullback. However, we did get a pullback. Okay, and we can look at a smaller time frame pullback here. Okay, it happened here, and we may break this trend line here. We can add another trend line in too. We're just putting some structure in here where transactions are taking place. That's what we're understanding here with the trend lines and horizontal lines. All right, so let's see. Now we're getting up to the top of this range in here, and okay, buyers in control of this move here into all these sellers, though. Right, so the transactions did take place, and then we see sellers, buyers, and again sellers. Okay, coming back down to the bottom of the range here. Okay, this is really range bound stuff in here. Okay, there's really no distinction. I see this is probably the heaviest selling here. Now it's starting to pick up. Okay, and it just broke below here. Okay, where the buyers came in and moved it higher. Okay, so let's see if we get maybe just one more push back up by the buyers here. And look at the order flow in here, how this can help us. They're pulling on the offer. They're adding on the offer. They're pulling on the bid, and we're seeing some sellers here. Okay, so let's see if those sellers can continue to hit the bid and trade maybe back down to our 92 level. And that would be our pullback that we're kind of looking for on the higher time frame here. Are you guys absorbing this? Is this making sense? You know, as we've been going through this Bookmap Academy meetup every Thursday and going through your guys' checklist and your criteria, it's excellent. Moreover, not only are we doing that, some of you guys are. It was Slowdown that started to not only post the criteria in a checklist. He was pointing to a number like in the criteria and checklist, and then pointing to where that's taking place on the chart, so he knows. And then he also has a pattern that an image diagram of what he's looking for, and then how that matches. Right. So now we can even see in here, in hindsight, after it developed, and I was not convinced of this move, and I'm still not convinced of this move, to be honest. Okay, so I am still looking for this to pull back to 92. It may drop even lower and trade down into 51.80 or maybe 72. Okay, because look at this move and these buyers coming back in. Okay, and then do we roll over and see more sellers coming back in like we did in the crypto market? Basically the same idea in the crypto market with the Bitcoin move. And so in these areas in here, we really need to see a lot of buying. And that's where there's conviction. It starts to break some of the structure. It trades into high liquidity, and we see more high liquidity, more on the bid at higher levels. And we are seeing some of that in here. Okay, but, I'm still not convinced on it yet. We can also see this roll right back over into these lower levels here. Okay, when we see the volume dots on the, let me just kind of try to mark it up here. Do that. This tool. Something like this. If we see conviction down here, no, that's not. Should be able to fill it. All right, well, it's going to have to be a rectangle like this. So if we see big buying in here, right, that kind of starts to really, it was maybe equal to this selling over here, but we see it over here in multiple bars of buyers. That's telling us that there's conviction in this, and we would look for this to continue on up. We're not seeing that. Okay, so we're talking about this move potentially comes back like this. Right, because of the what we have here in the order book and the transactions. Okay, selling starting to pick up. Okay, now is it going to be trap sellers? We don't know that yet. Or are these going to be trap buyers up here? We don't know that yet either. Okay, but we're looking for the follow through. And then let's zoom in here and let's see what we have. Okay, high liquidity here on the offer, more sellers in here. Yeah, I'm looking for sellers to drop it into our 92 level right now. And there's a little more on the offer. Okay, finding a bit of buying. Let's use the same criteria for this little range in here. And we can look at maybe even this range in here. Okay, we have sellers, not much buying, not much buying, sellers, okay, a little bit of buying in here. All right, now this could be the trap if we can get sellers down here. Okay, we need big sell dot down here, and then we would look for the continuation move to the downside. Okay, maybe down to this 91 level. All right, so what are we looking for up here? Exhaustion or lack of buying, looking for our sellers. We want the order book to support this as well, or I shouldn't say support, go along with this. And the order book is huge factor. They're starting to, we can see a little bit of game playing already. High liquidity on the bid, high liquidity on the offer. They're bidding up a little bit in here. So it's not really too clear here in the order book there. Now it's there's a breakout here and a flip of the order book as well. So from offer to bid, and we see buyers. All right, so that little, as you can see how important it is to understand the order flow. This is really a massive participant in this move here, is understanding this order flow in here. Okay, because before that we're looking for sellers, and then something changed in here, and then now we see the squeeze and the move to the upside. It's these buyers in here that felt the squeeze, and now it's not over yet. You know, we can come down right to where we broke out from and retest these guys, and I would look for that test. And there it is, and it's through it. Okay, so this was a little bit of manipulation, a move back up toward this high liquidity, and then now we see the selling coming in, someone just dumping it. Okay, pretty wicked stuff in here. It happens to us all the time. Okay, this criteria in here is going to be a lot harder to read and put into context. Or I'm sorry, react upon. Putting it in context is easy. But reading it in real time here can be a challenge. We don't know about that volatility, that this can happen like that. It finally traded down to our 92 level, and then let's see now. Okay, these are the sellers we were looking for earlier over here. Now we're getting them. Okay, so now the question is, can we get up here and then get buyers? Or is this going to be a low volume pullback and roll over and see more sellers? Okay, there's our sellers. Okay, let's see it then. Let's see the drop back down to the swing and then maybe through. Okay, now the order book, pretty dark. So we still don't really have that much. We don't have much there on the order book helping us out. But this is the primary scenario we're looking for. Okay, now this is when the primary scenario looks really good. That's when it's time to consider taking a position. Okay, because you have your criteria support that scenario. Okay, and that'll come through with your setups checklist. Right, and so that's why it's so important. right? So we see that the primary scenario is the move down. We're getting it. Now look at the order book though, in the live market in here. Okay, also you can see it starting to unfold a little bit historically. A lot of buyers on the bid down here. Okay, so this would be just a quick scalp down to the lower level here. Okay, stop to break even, or just out. Take your profit. Now we don't know. Primary scenario is still looking pretty good, but the order book is really against us here. They need to, sellers need to either trade into and through all of this liquidity here, or these guys need to pull and flip, which we may see as well. We may get a nice bounce out of that area. And we're getting our answer now. They're actually trading into these guys and through them. Okay, so there's the move. Right now, be careful here, because again, right back up above this area here at 91.50, and we can very easily come back up into these previous swings. Hope this is making some sense in here, guys, and helping out, like that Bookmap Academy, going through and understanding this context and criteria, putting this together. This is what's helping us start to give us insight to where price might be moving. WRB, just reading your comment here. Okay, you need to go. Well, thank you. Some kind words in there. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, look, we can go through and that's what these webinars are for, is to give insight to these levels by understanding order flow and the auction and where people want to transact. What is the feel of what's going on out there in the market? And then we get a good insight of that feel, and we know what we're looking for. That's your trading plan. Shark Blue is looking at a 1, 2, 3 pattern. That was one of your best ones, in my opinion, Shark. That was one of your best ones yesterday, because you didn't, you thought you saw it, but you didn't, and you didn't have the criteria, and you took it nonetheless. And I don't know about how you feel about it, but like, it's, for me, it's when I do stuff like that, I go back and I can't believe it. And I look at that again and again and again, and I just go, oh God, what was I thinking? Why did I do that? But you absorb that and you learn that, and you put that together, and you don't do it again. Okay, and then yet you had some really great trade management there that took care of it. That's just fantastic. Yeah, that was one of my favorite images that for a long time, actually. One of my favorite overall. I think it was maybe Robbed as well, came in and also he actually, he traded off the chart, which you guys, I really highly recommend that you do that. Like, if this way we can really give really good feedback. Okay, by understanding where the positioning was, and this can then it's like, well, what were you thinking? What was the criteria? And you have to justify it. And don't think about it when you're trading like too much about the justification. Um, I mean, you need to know what you're looking for, and then you take the trade, right? And that's that. That should make all the difference. Okay? And if it's a winner or a loser, that's okay. You just need to manage it well so it's not a big loser. That's the most important. Yeah, the 1-2-3 pattern is great. I'm a big fan of it as well. And what I like about the 1-2-3 pattern too, you know who's also really good at that is Gene from the Algo Boys, looking at his 1-2-3 pattern. And what I like about it so much, Shark is, or Trader, is when you're looking at that pattern, you're looking at that transition taking place in the 1-2-3. Right? It's back and forth, but you're looking at, okay, now it's gone back and forth a bit, but do I have a slant on one side or the other? And that's exactly how, that's exactly what makes up a head and shoulders pattern, a triple top, or whatever it might be. It's that back and forth. It's like, well, that's more like a 1-2-3-4-5 pattern or something. But you're understanding the transactions and order flow within that structure to give you that insight. So it's that back and forth, and it's great. I mean, it's just yet another example of the understanding that order flow. All right, guys. So we do have something in here. Look at, we have the on the offer here. We're getting our sellers in here. We have a nice trap here. We get a bit more selling, looking for that move down to this swing here and this liquidity here at 86 3/4. Let's see it. Let's see it, sellers. Is it pretty clear that that's the scenario here? These are the, and we would also, part of the criteria here basically would be to anticipate a stop run to the downside here, because these guys got it wrong, and we need to see that. It's getting interesting in here. Some finagling on the offer into this liquidity here, and this may fail. We don't know. This is consider your trade management in here. You're out. Unless you got in up here, maybe. It didn't work. You're already out. Okay, and you might get back in if we can see sellers down below here at 51.90. Okay, this didn't work though. That primary scenario. Okay, it failed. In fact, for those of you trading the opposite way, then that's fine too. Like if you're looking for the failure, and then you're looking actually for the stop run now back up above this swing here, or a retest back up to here first, and then maybe the stop run up into 95. If you're connected to your Global Plus, can you trade from the Dome Pro? Yeah, absolutely, Shark Blue. No problem. Yeah, we have a new video on that as well. So guys, we are looking for that stop run now to the upside up into 95. This failed, got out early. Take the small loss, and then and again, we're not trading. This is all hypothetical in here. Okay, we came back up to the swing here, but you can almost just feel it though. like these guys in here, which we were like hypothetically a part of as well. Now we're looking forward to these guys to get stopped out and see the move back up, okay, up into at least there, and maybe better. And then here's your 1 2 3 pattern starting to evolve. And so what do we know about this 1 2 3 pattern in here? Not a lot. Well, at least I don't see it, Shark. I don't know what you see, but uh, I see the some strong selling here. It's, the buyers did get back up above it. This is where we saw that little volatility and order flow play. But buyers here, sellers here, lack of buyers up here, and more selling starting to come in here now. So it looks like that was it, to be honest. Maybe just to the top of this range, and actually now, here we go. So I am looking for sellers to come in now and break this 89 level down to 87 and maybe more here. So there's your 1 2 3 pattern starting to unfold in this little order flow event here. Yeah, so this is the back and forth, Alan, and this is where it can be really confusing, this back and forth. But understanding the order flow within this range in here, then finally that gave us the insight that the sellers are coming back in. We were looking for them right around here to come back in, and they did. So we are looking for the move back down to the bottom of the range here around 89, and then the potential break into like 87, 86, or 87 liquidity here, right? Right. So again, even in this back and forth and here is the criteria that we went through is to give us the insight to this potential move, and we can capitalize off of that. Great stuff. Yep. So yeah, thanks to the Academy and thanks to Shark Blue on that. So guys, put it together. You can develop a checklist right now. Open up your setups checklist. Go to settings here, and then this is the way to do it. Here is do export, okay, and then export it somewhere, wherever you want. Guess I'll go with downloads here. Okay, and is this it? No, that's not it. Ah. One, two, and a three. Okay. All right. And actually, let's do this, and then we'll import it. And then we're going to modify it. And let's put in our criteria here. Okay, so we're looking for was the first criteria. So the okay, we had buyers, and this is a short pattern in here. Okay, so Okay, so buyers to high liquidity or swing. Okay, next, we're looking for our sellers to come in, and sellers to high liquidity or swing. Okay, and then you know who's and then we're going to look for, again, buyers to come in, and then what we want to judge in here is the you know, higher high or lower high, I should say, lower low and lower high. That'd be a question mark, and then also we want to judge the relative volume. And we also want to look at liquidity on lowered on the offer. And liquidity hold on the bid. All right, here we go. Let's save it. And let's port it. And there we go. Right, and we can take a look at this criterion here, start to check the boxes, and then to see if we might get that move. I didn't outline the entry, but the entry would have been in here someplace, at least for me, looking for those sellers to come in below this area here, and then trade management. I'm not really sure. I'd have to look more at this. Maybe I'd even look for a little bit more selling up in this little area and trade it down to 89 here. But I'm definitely looking for these sellers to come in. They were telling us they were looking for the break into this 87 liquidity down here. Okay, put this together, and we can even look for the same one again and again and again. So here's sellers, buyers back up above it here. Okay, here's a lower high here. This one's not really panning out too well, though. Like, the relative volume wise, you know, they're buying in here. Okay, they have not broken here though, but they may. So this one's looking different, right? It doesn't have the criteria that we're looking for. You're seeing the buyers again here. Now they should be able to break it here, trade up to 90 or 91 or 92 here, something like that. They should be able to. And they are. Okay, so see the distinction in here in the 1, 2, 3? Here. It's actually doing it a bunch of times, but it's the same concepts though. Okay, and we're understanding it. And we were not looking for the breakdown here. We're looking for the move back up into the swing and high liquidity here. Anyway, guys, you get the idea. But this opens up everything for us, so that you know, we can now look for our high criteria checklist, start marking it up. You're part of the academy. Put that into your content for the academy, and get better at it. Rob, this is a kind of another thing in here. Just wanted to go through and understand the understanding the criteria in here, and note how it shifts and changes. Things shift and change in here. You know, we're looking for the move to the swing and this high liquidity. We didn't get to the liquidity here at 90, 91 and 91.25 is what it looks like. We didn't get to it. It came shy of it, and we actually see this is the shift and change in here. See the selling coming back in, right back down here. Okay? Whereas in here, we're looking for the move and the break. The sellers came right back in and brought it right back down. Okay, that's okay. I mean, the market can do it does whatever it wants, but understanding the concepts behind like a flag pattern is more important than actually the pattern itself. Okay, because it just understand that the impulse moves, the low volume pullbacks, and the impulse moves. Okay, so we see now we don't know that this is going to happen here and now finally break out. At least I didn't, because I see in here, I was looking for it here and looking for the the move higher. We get kind of almost an equal move here, reciprocal move here, all the way back down to the bottom of this little range in here. Now there's a little bit more buying than selling still here compared to here, but this is a hard read, and we don't know. So this here is not really telling us too much. Once it comes back up here though, and you do see that they're buying back up here, hey, look at the cluster, look at the bars, look at the dots, and look at where we are. Now it looks pretty good. Now it's looking like it'll trade not only to this 91.25, but this 93 level here, 93.25. Okay, so this 1, 2, 3 pattern that we noted that, well, maybe it's the same thing. It's starting to, we saw it in here starting to unfold, and then we're like, well, here it is, it's doing it again. And then we looked at it once this happened here. Like, this isn't the same. This is different. It's not the same criteria. And then we see this difference, and we're looking for the move, and it should break out. It did, then it failed and came right back down. Then it broke out. All right, guys, let me see if there's any more questions in here. Good stuff. And thanks, Alois. It's per usual. Oh, Ryan, welcome. All right, so you're new to Bookmap here. Excellent. Well, if you have the time, and it's not a big time requirement, let me show you where the Bookmap Academy is. Go to bookmap.com, click on the More button, and go here under Community, Bookmap Academy. You might want to come over to our Discord channel as well. And then here in the Bookmap Academy, you can read through this in here. We meet every Thursday. There's a room for it, and as you can see, like well, you might want to come to this all markets room in here in Discord, where we're going over this material as well. Okay, again and again. All right, guys. Well, anyway, let's wrap it up. We'll call it a day here, or we'll call it a week. And if you didn't, well, I don't have the recording, but we'll wait and see about that recording. Just a follow up on a few housekeeping things before we go for the day here. The recording for that Axia Futures webinar, we'll look for that. But then next week, don't miss that webinar with Carmine Rosado and trading in and debriefing and trading in replay mode. You all have access to that. Global plus, or digital plus. You'll all have access to that, and you should use that. So what does that mean? You just recorded this data in here, and you can take trades on it. Did you see your criteria? Okay. How would you manage this in here? We're looking for the break here, right? So maybe where would you be getting in? What was your criteria? Where would you be managing this? Would you take some at the swing, or would you leave your target just in front of this liquidity here? And if so, did you get stopped out at break even? Or it depends. Like however you feel fit to best manage this, that makes you feel comfortable and makes money for you, is profitable. Okay? There's a lot of different ways to do it, and people have their different styles for doing it. Okay? Just make sure that you find something that works for you. Right? And then use the criteria checklist, setups checklist, and put some high probability setups together, and there you go. Just manage it well. All right, so another thing too is our Crypto March Madness. Look for this early next week. We're going to, I think it'll be on the 21st of March. It's going to be until the end of March, so 10-day, a 10-day long crypto competition. This is going to be for only for Bookmap Academy and Blue Jacket. Okay, we're integrating both Blue Jacket and Bookmap Academy into one. Right, so all you guys should take part in it. Trade your hearts out. It's a competition, but you'll have the capability to trade and win some prizes. Okay, so it's a good healthy competition, and yeah, it'll be what crypto's at, what, 68,000 now. It was at 72,000 yesterday, and yikes, this is some pretty crazy stuff in here. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So what we ended up getting in crypto here, or Bitcoin, as you can see, the breakdown into our level, and then we weren't really quite too sure. It came all the way back up to where? Look at this. Guys, you just can't make this stuff up. Here's our swing. Here's high liquidity. That's where we traded, and that's we've sold off since then. Here's our retest back up here. There's more selling here. Guys, you would have nailed it here. And you're still looking for it to unfold. First level is right, just about where it's trading at 6,200. But I think there's enough selling in here to break it and come back down into 68,000 basically. Right, so you can kind of see this transition taking place here. You can see it a little bit clearer here in Bitcoin. Here's the buying, here's the selling, here's the selling coming back in, and we might get a pullback to about here. And who knows, we may get buyers that come back in above 350 here. We may. Okay, but it's starting to shift and change. Okay, we see this nice cluster of selling. We see some exhaustion here, and we see another nice cluster of selling. Okay? For those reasons, we'll continue to look for a move lower. Right. So first stop is this 6,200. Just traded into it, and we're not seeing too many sellers right now. Okay? But we're starting to see this transition take place. Right, and when we see that transition, we look for the continuation. All right, anyway, I'll leave you guys with that. Yeah, thanks for coming, everybody. Big week next week with the Crypto Madness competition, Carmine Rosado webinar, and also hopefully we'll get the recording from that Axia Futures for review. All right. Thanks, guys, and we'll catch up with you on Monday. Have a good weekend. Yep. Bye-bye.